Okay. First of all, welcome. This is a WIL Australia Conference abstract writing session. We're going to give you all the hints and tips about what to expect if you're thinking about putting in an abstract for the WIL Australia Conference. Um, First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that we are on various lands around the country or abroad, but in particular in Melbourne and in Geelong, where I live, we're on the unceded lands of the Wadawurrung people. And I pay my respect to Indigenous elders past, present, and emerging. Um, there's a lot of symmetry between work integrated learning practices and the Indigenous ways of knowing and knowledge and how they develop leaders and their youth for future leadership roles. So it's great to acknowledge traditional owners when we come into a WIL program. Leonie, do you want to talk about the conference first of all?
Yes, hi everyone. Yes, I'm Leonie Russell. I'm from RMIT. I'm on the conference committee, as is Wayne, and we have been for quite a few years. And very happy this year that we're heading over to Adelaide in October. So it's everything's on the website with all of the dates, all of the things that you need to know. I also believe that they're working on potentially the in-place user conference, may also be after this one. So there may be more people coming because of that as well. But please, if you haven't registered yet, get in. And obviously, if you're interested in writing an abstract and presenting, that's why you're here. We look forward to seeing you all. If you've never been to an ASEN, now WIL Australia Conference, they are fantastic. It's a really good community of people, lots to learn from others and engage with lots of WIL people. So
That is
please,
a good point, Leonie. This will be the first ever WIL Australia conference.
yeah,
We've
yeah,
had quite a few ASIN conferences, but this will be the first ever WIL Australia one. Um,
yeah.
so Leonie's here. I'm Wayne Reed. I am the VicTAS chapter chair, and as Leonie mentioned, I'm part of the conference committee as well. Um, so I guess the conference themes. Leonie, do you want to talk to these as well?
Okay, so this year there's a lot of focus on impact, how we're measuring impact. And as you can see, the overarching theme is Will for Impact Partnering for Scalable Practice. Now we have four sort of streams, and when you go onto the website, there's lots of suggestions under each of those four about what your abstract could be about. The list is not exhaustive, it just gives you an idea about which stream that you think that your abstract would fit within. So I'll just read them out. So the first one's designing scalable and sustainable will models. Obviously, a key thing for all of us as our universities went through the National Priorities Industry Linkage Fund of doing a lot more work around will and the challenges of scalable models. The second is partnering for impact and collaborating with purpose. The next one's mobilising students for lifelong learning and career development. And the fourth one is enhancing quality, inclusion and innovation through evidence-based practice. Now, sometimes I will say that when we see abstracts, people go, oh, it could align to this theme or it could align to that sub theme. Please try and pick one because while Wayne's trying to sort out the program, so that there's a stream of people sitting in particular rooms who are really interested in that particular topic. So pick one. Okay, would be very useful. As you can see, I've put the link there on the sides. The slides will be available on the website, but I've also put a link in the chat. So, next one, Wayne.
Okay. So we've got five different types of presentations or abstract submissions. The first three are more kind of traditional formats. These are the shorter formats. We have our normal showcase presentations, which is a 20-minute block, 15 minutes of presentation and 5 minutes for questions. And there'll typically be a few presentations in a row. The Pecha Kucha are those small, short, 5 minute, really snappy kind of sessions. You kind of only have a few seconds per slide. As you can see, they're 20 seconds per slide. It keeps rotating through and you get the key ideas out really quickly. And then posters. We have great space for posters. The posters were really popular the last couple of years in Sydney and in Melbourne, where you can just have a poster to show some of the cool initiatives that you're doing. The other two key styles are panel discussions and roundtable discussions. These are a bit more interactive and a bit more take time to kind of put together and to think about what the outcomes are going to be for your participants or the people that watch your session. Leonie, do you have some key tips around the roundtables?
Yeah, so roundtables, if you're going to submit for a roundtable with your abstract, there is a requirement to add a bit more information about how your session will be interactive, because it's not an opportunity for 40 minutes to stand up there and talk. People will come to these roundtables with expectations of doing something. Of course, we will always provide butcher paper, post-it notes, texters, and things like that. But this is an opportunity for you to get a topic on the ground, get people to talk and give feedback, and get people to do some work. We always like to have our roundtable discussions. We try to fit them in after lunch, so there's a bit of activity when everyone's full from their conference lunch. But they're a really great way to engage, meet new people, and solve some problems. So please think about what you'd like to do, something that's new, to get people really engaged and talking and sharing what they know.
The panel discussions can be 20-minute or 40-minute blocks. Most of the time, it can just be a couple of people get up together to share a presentation session, or you might get a few students or industry partners with you. And you can have the option to nominate whether you want 20 or 40, and we'll see what we can do to accommodate those. But there are only a small number of those larger 40-minute slots, whether that's roundtables or panels, but there
Mm.
are more showcase events. So if you just have some ideas that you want to present, even if it's just you're thinking about a research topic or the research you've done so far or some cool initiative that you've done in a teaching or professional capacity within your institution, then showcases really are a great way of going about it.
Yep. And thanks, Lorraine, for posting that note because you're right. Posters are really good. And last year, lots of people, we had lots, I can't remember, lots of posters, really engaging way to chat with people. People come up to you and ask a lot. You're right. It's not second best at all. So
The
thanks.
posters did take a large space of the area outside the session rooms. And so people were standing around them, reading them, looking at them, talking to the creators and authors of those posters. They were great discussion pieces.
Very much so.
In terms of submissions, the basic mechanics are not the same as writing a journal article. We don't expect academic quality literature. It's really around your ideas and what is coming through. We do want to see some sort of connection to the broader discussion around work integrated learning. So if you can link into what other people are doing or some other contexts around WIL Australia's resources or other material, great. But really focusing on what you do or what's cool in that space around the work integrated learning component. I think one of the key things is to make sure it's not just employability, it's not CDL, but it is work integrated learning. And there might be elements where they're combined or come together, but the clear focus of the presentation or submission is around work integrated learning. In terms of the abstract, you have 250 words. We do an online form, so it's all relatively simple, and you can do most of it in a Word document before you start and then upload it. Um, just remember that the abstract that you submit may get some tweaks around wording and language for copy editing and that sort of stuff, but that's what people will see. So you really want your abstract to be engaging and highlight the cool initiatives or the things that you're doing that will make people want to come along to your session. And these will be part of the criteria that people will look at in terms of the review process. Leonie, do you have other things that you would like to add to about this?
No, I think, and the wording there that we've put on that slide, it just gives you a nice lead in. Try and not use, let's think of the right word. Don't say I did this and I did that. It's about this showcase aligns to this, or this showcase will outline and highlight that sort of language. And try not to use too many of your own acronyms from your own university that other people may not understand. Okay, that's some key things, but it's not
One
too,
of the other, sorry,
sorry.
Leonie. I was just going to say one of the other things is there is a section for you to kind of comment on how it aligns to the themes as well. So you can make those links very clear, and there's a lot of sub themes that you can kind of clearly identify that your work is addressing. Luke, yes, you can get the slides afterwards as well. There'll be a recording for this in the slides.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Some basic style guides. Um, and other conditions, you can only be the lead on one presentation. You can be part of multiple presentations. You can be your team might submit 3 or 4 different showcase events or posters and events, but you can only be the key point of contact or the key lead on one of those. So um, within Deakin, where I am, we've got a team of 5 or 6. We could all put in different presentation events that will be independently evaluated, but I can only be lead on one of those. Um, just in terms of style guides, as kind of Leonie mentioned,
Mm.
around the use of I and the way you word it, just thinking about how you can make this approachable to a broader audience. And it's about showcasing the initiatives and the things that you've done, whether that's research or processes or activities, and focusing on those rather than the personal elements. Um, so where does your abstract go? The last kind of section on this slide. There's an online form. Leona shared the link to it before, and we'll share a link again. You submit online, it'll go into an online repository where the team of panel reviewers that are with me as part of the conference committee will have a look at it. We'll judge all the submissions that come in within a certain time period, and then we'll select the ones that are clearly a yes for the conference. There'll be some that might need a couple of changes. There'll be some that might be, hey, this is cool, but we'll hold off on it. And there might be some that are clearly no, and we'll give you a reason for those. So we'll go through the process and give you some guidance on how that will go through. But you can see there that the types of decisions that will come out of your abstract submission. Leonie?
Yep. Okay. So last conference we started this, which was a conference support grant, and it is open again. And there, it's about new researchers, early career researchers, HDR students or professional staff that may have never been to one of these conferences before. They may be struggling to get financial support from their university, so they can apply for a conference support grant, and that will cover the registration. It doesn't cover flights, it doesn't cover accommodation, but it will cover your registration. And again, we'd expect from that these people would submit a poster or a showcase presentation. They need to be doing some sort of a presentation. And they need to also provide a signed letter from their supervisor. Now, the application process is similar, that goes through, it gets checked. How many people are we getting? I think last time we had the full 10, I think, if I remember rightly, support grants, which is fantastic. And they're all reviewed, those people presented, and we help them get there. So it's a really good initiative to help get people along who may not have been able to attend any other way. So you can ask any questions. There's a lot of information on the website as well about the conference grant. So if you've got people who may be doing their PhD, maybe professional staff who are really keen, have a look at the support grant. And you can always email myself or Wayne. We can take you through that process and help you out.
Yep. It's really important for people in a budget constrained environment that we're in now. I think a lot of
Yeah.
universities are facing that. Um, So one thing we've introduced this year is kind of 3 stages of submissions. The first one was before Christmas. So people that submitted before Christmas have already received outcomes about whether they're accepted, whether they need some changes, or they're on hold. Stage 2 is at the end of the month. So if you're on the cusp of having an abstract kind of put together or thinking about it, now's a great time to get that done and submitted. We'll go through the review process in early April to get those outcomes out. And the final review process will be in May. What we've done is we've portioned off some of the conference spacing to each of these stages. But if you're unsuccessful in one of the earlier stages, your submission will roll over into one of the later stages. So it's a great way of getting in early and kind of getting the opportunity to get your paper read and then potentially read a couple of times by the team to see whether it fits into the schedule and fits into the structure and themes that we've aligned with the WIL Australia Conference. Um, I think that's probably about it for us from a presentation point of view. does anyone have any questions? There's some great chat around, the value of posters and the way it goes about, and the slides that we're sharing. But does anyone else have any questions about what they're thinking and whether it fits? Anita?
Yes, with the stages, you
Mhm.
mentioned about if it's not accepted in one round and then they'll roll over to the next one. Is there an opportunity, for example, to revise
Yep.
the abstract if it's not accepted and then we submit again for the next one?
Yeah, definitely. If it's one of those ones that kind of needs work or clearly no, we'll send it
Mhm.
back to you with feedback.
Oh,
If it's
excellent.
unsuccessful or it's on the cusp, and we've kind of hit what we think are the ones that go through straight away, you'll
Yeah.
get an email to inform you of that. And if there's anything else you want to change, you can probably have the opportunity to do that then and there as well. But anything that's a no or needs work, we'll definitely get the opportunity to update it. Um,
Mhm.
but we want as many people to think about applying as they can. So we'll definitely give you those opportunities.
Excellent. Thank you.
No worries. Anyone else?
So, Wayne, I think Anita made a comment early on in the chat. The 18th, is that a Sunday of October?
Yes, I think it's a Sunday. What we typically do is everyone will come in on the Sunday, and you might have chapter meetings, and your chapter will have a catch up. So in Sydney last year, a lot of us flew in on the Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, and we all caught up at a meeting point. It was a great chance for you to kind of meet all those other people that are within your state chapter, and then start the conference early on the Monday morning.
Monday. Good, thanks.
Yeah, it's always a bit challenging if you're flying in Monday morning, you know, to get there. So the Sunday, yeah, we always get together and have dinner and meet with people from our chapters, which is always fun. It's going to be fun. Vanessa, who's here, promises she's in Adelaide, promises that the weather in Adelaide in October is fantastic. Joanne, hi.
Hi. Looks like you can't see me. Hang on. Oh,
The camera's decided it doesn't
Um,
want to work today.
okay. Uh, I haven't been to one of these conferences before. How many delegates do you usually get? And are they from all over Australia? And also, do you get people from international visitors as well?
Great question.
Yes, we do. So last year we had to close early because we ran out of room. What did we have? About 300, 200,
350?
350. We had to, yeah, which was phenomenal. So over the years, it's always been somewhere between 200 and 300. We usually get quite a few people from New Zealand, from WIL New Zealand, and we occasionally
Canada.
get someone from Canada or a couple of people from Canada. So, we hope that we get more international guests. Sometimes we do. I think we've had some South Africa. We get people from Thailand. So it's a bit of a mix, but very much people from all around Australia as well.
Great. I do have a second question, if that's okay, if no one else has one. It's just about the conference support grant. So, I have colleagues that would fit into that category, but I think they they would get support to go anyway, but I think it would be great for them to have their registration paid so that more people could go. So they need to provide a signed letter from their supervisor on institutional letterhead confirming that the institution is unable to provide financial support for conference registration. I mean, they might be able to provide that, but if they did, then maybe someone else couldn't go or something like that. I mean, how strict are you on that? You know, and also they might be able to provide accommodation and flights and that sort of thing. So,
Yeah, the letter could be to those extents to say that, the budget's limited, the funding for this organization is stretched, and by having the registration covered for this person, we might be able to send other people or pay for help contribute to the flights and accommodation for that person to attend on as opposed to covering their costs of registration.
okay, great. Thank you.
No worries. Great questions.
Yep.
Anyone else have any questions that we can help with? Has anyone already submitted an abstract? And you're just saying yes.
Okay,
Yes, I have.
good.
Great.
I've got to get one in. So that's it.
Any other questions we can help with?
When is the due date for the support grant application again? It's not on the screen. Sorry. Should
Yeah.
have put it in the email and the website.
Oh, be on the website.
Okay, all right.
It's on the website. It's in line with having to have your submissions in for your abstract. It's in
Yeah.
line with that, okay? Because they'll
Okay.
be looking together. So if your abstract is accepted and you've
Yeah.
put in for a support grant, because the online form, you're ticking everything, filling in everything at once. So it's all
Right.
addressed at the same time. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Luke?
Maybe a silly question. Can we add attachments to the abstract? Or is it strictly limited to the 250 words?
No, it's just limited on you can't upload a file. You can't
Yeah.
upload. So if you just do it yourself in a Word document, life's easier to just copy and paste what you need in there. Yeah.
Was this for additional supporting material, Luke, or is it?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
I think generally speaking, what we're going to review is what's written as your pitch, the abstract, and then have your justification of how it aligns to the themes. That's what the team are going to look at. So it's probably good to be able to summarize the key aspect that you're thinking of in there. And then the other material that you have would be later. If you're submitting a poster, you'd be able to upload that or print that out, or submit it on the day and show that sort of material.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing a showcase of something that we did over the last year.
Yeah.
Sort of newish, not quite experimental, but a whole new approach to will in one of our capstone units. So, and there is a lot of evidence of its success. So, try and summarize it.
Yeah, cool. Sounds really good.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. Okay, we'll
Yeah.
have to do more.
Yeah. Okay. If there's nothing else, then we'll give you some time back in your day. But feel free to reach out if you have any questions about your abstract submissions or if you need any other support. I think the key thing is we're not looking for academic research papers. These are discussions or pitches for your ideas, essentially. So think of them as you're writing your abstract, think of what you would like to read in an abstract to make you feel like you'd want to go and watch that presentation. Does it have clear connection to will and outcomes? Does it sound really interesting? And is it phrased in a way that seems like it could tap into a lot of different ideas and people? They're really the key things that the team will look for. And if you can read it and think about what you're writing, it's a great way of thinking about what other people might want to read as well.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Have a good afternoon. Bye.
Bye.